Welcome to Toffee TV. James Tarkowski has signed a new 2.5-year deal. His contract was up at the end of the season and he's staying until 2028. So I guess it's a 2.5-year deal.
Yeah.
From there, so it's a player who's played 128 times for Everton, scored 4 goals, got 3 assists in his Everton career since coming in on a free transfer, James, from Burnley. Personally, I think he's been brilliant. He's had some games where he's not had the great, and straight off the top of my head, Bournemouth in the FA Cup wasn't one of his greatest days. Yeah. But in general, I think he's been an excellent signing for Everton.
Yeah, absolutely. Since he's came in, you know, and I know apart from the end of last season and the beginning of this, he's just been available for every game.
Yeah.
And for a free transfer, you can't really ask for much more. And Everton been played with, you know, defenders who come in. You know, Yerry Mina, good defender, but wasn't available. But he's always been consistent. And, you know, for a player of James Tarkowski's quality, how much would you actually be paying for him if we had to pay for him? So you can't really complain about it. And, you know, last season we had one of the best defences with him and Jared Branthwaite, and I know Branthwaite hasn't been available this season, but with sort of the new attackers that we've got now, it'd be interesting to see how that partnership sort of develops further on. And to keep him here, I'm over the moon with it.
So you just made a really good point. You're talking about the availability of Tarkowski.
Yeah.
And you paired that with Branthwaite, who missed the start of last season. You know, he played 1 game till the end of October, I think, and he came back. You know what I mean? Yeah. And this season he played a single game, and we're in October again. You know, and that's a little bit of a worry. So having the availability of Tarkowski is massively important, because right now we'd have O'Brien and Keane, wouldn't it? Because if they were both, you know, if Tarky's come back a bit earlier than he probably should have, really, because you could see at the start he was just off for a little bit because he hadn't had a pre-season because of the injury. He was recovering from that injury. But in general, he's been a brilliant player, and I think he's been key in the development of Branthwaite. Yeah,
absolutely. I think, you know, we had sort of quite a young defence, didn't we? And I know obviously Pickford's very loud, but you see in every game, especially the game on the weekend, he was just screaming stuff at O'Brien. You've seen it with Branthwaite and stuff as well, and Michalenko's still fairly young. And so, and you look into the midfield with James gone and stuff like that, I think he's been key for sort of their progress now they've got on, and, you know, using all of his experience. And as you said, with sort of the injury thing, Michael Keane's potentially out injured now as well, so it's like he's always there, he's someone you can always rely on, and he's just great for like the overall sort of defence as a whole.
I think when you look at like things like his aerial duels, he wins most of his aerial duels in both boxes.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think he can be rash. We all remember the derby at Anfield last season, and he probably should have been sent off.
In the same breath, though, you remember the derby at Goodison.
And then in the same breath, you remember the derby at Goodison for all the positive reasons. But in general, he's a tough character. He's a brilliant defender. He has more blocks than any other defender in the Premier League. And you're absolutely right. Again, I think Everton had the 4th best defence last season, something like that, or the 3rd best defence in the Premier League, and he's absolutely key to it. And I do find it mad with some Evertonians who, like, you know, maybe we should be replacing them now. I'm thinking, how and why? Yeah. Like, he's Everton's best defender most weeks, even when Branthwaite's in there, and I love Branthwaite, and Branthwaite makes us even better. Of course he does. But I think Tarkowski's performances are always up there. Okay, he mightn't have started the season amazingly, but he's not being poor, you know. And I think you know, he brings everyone up, whoever's, you know, playing right and left. He said that at the weekend he's having a go at O'Brien, fuming with O'Brien, and he was fuming with Michael Keane for the goal because the pair of them weren't in the correct positions. He's letting them know. We all remember the Brighton game, and he didn't have the greatest opening 45 minutes, you know. Let one bounce and Mitoma at the bad and the back pass, you know, but he didn't shake from it. He got on with it. And I think he's got better and better each week. And I think he is important to have, because you've got to have that person who, and I'm noticing it more with him, he's trying to get into the referee as well. When there's something he doesn't like, he's over there, which I think it took him a bit of time to do, I think. And I know he's done an interview with Everton, and he sort of said, I'm glad you said vice captain and not captain, because Seamus is the captain. But I mean, I love Seamus Coleman, we all do. But by all intents and purposes, James Tarkowski's our captain because he's the fella who's on the pitch. He leads us out every week. He's on the pitch every week. He's in the referee's ear. And that's what you need. You need a leader. James Tarkowski is a leader.
Yeah, and it's sort of, he's one of them where, you know, you come up against someone, I don't know, who's in great form and stuff, and he's not going to sort of back down from the challenge. And it's always interesting seeing sort of like the little battles he has on the pitch. And, you know, you're right with sort of the captaincy thing. He ultimately is the captain.
Yeah.
And, yeah, you're right. You can rely on him. You know, I think in the past we had sort of people who've stepped into the captaincy where, you know, something like a handball happens or something, and they're not over and not instantly in the air. And it was something that we praised Ashley Young about last season as well. That, you know, nothing's getting past them referee wise, and you can always he's always reliable for that as well. So, yeah.
Because I think I always liken him a bit to Phil Jagielka. I love Jags, but he wasn't the most vocal captain. Jagielka sort of led by example. He was like excellence, you know. Seamus is a cry arse, and I love that because you need your captain to be. Yeah. You need them. That's what happens.
Just moan all the time. Yeah. If
cry.
Any benefit.
I mean, look at like any United game. Bruno Fernandes referees the game. Remember years ago it was Carragher and Gerrard for Liverpool just refereed the game. Every week you're seeing it through different teams. Arsenal have 2 or 3 referee the game. You've got to have that. You've got to be in questioning the referee every time. You're the captain, you're allowed to. Let him know. If something you're not happy with, let him know. If there's lads getting away with consistent fouling, tell the referee. And Tarky does that. He'll go, hang on, you just booked someone there, what about this? He's making the referee think, next one, I'm going to have to book him. You have to have that. You have to try to have that element of control. And you have to be a certain type of character. And I think he is a certain type of character. And I think, I keep reiterating it, we got him for nothing. And he's been a brilliant signing. And he is definitely not an issue for Everton. And Branthwaite, like I said, we get him back, I think we'll be even better. I think he can get back on just defending this game. I think if we get a real... Brien's done really well at right back. A couple of ropey moments the last few games, but in general he's done quite well. But I think the manager wants a flying right back. That's what he wants. And I think Tarky would help with that as well, and integrating that side of it. Do you think he should score more goals though, considering how good he is in the air?
Yeah, because he's the one, isn't he, when he wins at the back post and tries to back him. But sometimes just go for it, because it's so frustrating that we've got like such tall players, and it feels like we waste so many chances in the box. But he wins every header. Near enough, you can't really complain about him winning headers. He just needs to score them.
One of the things, just before we finish, he spoke about, and he sort of highlighted it a little bit, is the want to play in Europe. And he keeps giving, he's given the message the manager's given the players, which is, we're going to try and get in Europe this year. Now, okay, we might fall short. I think the aim is good. I think the aim's right. And he's saying that's a key driver for the players and him, that aim. And I think that's a good thing, isn't it? For the manager to set that stall out, and the players like Tarkowski to want to run with it. And you're seeing Sunday there was a determination to go and win that game. And I think that's what David Moyes has instilled in them now, is that there's an opportunity. Let's go and win the game. And I think we tried to win the Villa game. I think we tried to win the West Ham game the other night. We just let ourselves down with a final ball. Well, Sunday we won the game, and I hope now that's something he reiterates to the players as the captain, because I think the manager will be like, go and grab the game by the scruff of the neck. It's there to win.
We can do it now.
You have to play a little bit of win-lose, don't you, there? Because the risk and reward is what it is. If you sit back and go, we'll sit on a point, you're missing these opportunities. Whereas, I think, are you happy that they're reiterating the message of European football, that's an aim?
Yeah, because I think last season we spoke loads about how we complaining that, you know, Sean Dyche was essentially putting us in a relegation battle every press conference and was constantly talking the club down. And if you just keep talking like that, the mentality all switches that, like, you know, we should just be trying to survive. I think now we've got David Moyes, we've got our vice-captain or captain talking about, you know, the aim is Europe. We've even had Jack Grealish say it as well. And it's like, it's a complete mentality shift. And, you know, instead of talking about relegation or even being within sort of that realm, now we're all talking about, we're going for Europe, we're going for top 8, top 10 or whatever, and it's way better than what it was last season. In such a short amount of time, we've changed so much. And, you know, players like Tarkowski, I know he was there under Dyche, but sort of he's been the backbone of what Everton have, how we stayed up and how we sort of progressed. And yeah, I think it's just sort of ideal for what we want, really. And it's something that has changed so quickly, and you know that's what you got to give credit to David Moyes for, because it definitely wasn't here under Dyche.
No, and it's again, go finish now, but it's an important sign, and it means there's one less to worry about. We've now still got, obviously Everton are still talking to James Garner, and I imagine that'll be signed quite soon. Even, and obviously Michalenko's another one who they're speaking to, and we know about Jordan Pickford anyway, don't we? That'll probably get sorted as well soon. So, you know, it's good. It's another thing out the way. We can forget about that. You know, the fear. Oh, he's out of contract at the end of the season. It's about building, moving forward. So I'm pleased that James Tarkowski has signed a new 2.5-year deal, and it gives you that little bit of stability. And I think even if Everton were progressing and it was like Jake O'Brien's going to eventually take his place, you've got him for another 2.5 years. You've got that insurance. You're not going, well, then we give him another year to try to keep him as the fourth. You know what I mean? It's up to O'Brien now to not only get himself in the middle of the defence, but to
just learn off him and stuff as well, isn't it? Because that's what we've been saying about G. Scarnegay, that we sort of need someone for him to mentor to eventually take over that role. And it feels like O'Brien and Tarkowski, that's sort of eventually the end goal, especially with how much they're talking now on the pitch with him laying it right back. So yeah, it's 2 years for O'Brien to sort of try and take his place. Yeah,
absolutely. There you go. Let us know what you think. James Tarkowski has signed a new 2.5-year deal with the club. He's here until June 2028. Let us know in the comments section below. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. See you later.